Welcome, everyone. Have you ever watched an animated movie and felt weird? Not scared, not confused, just unsettled? That little shiver you felt? It has a name. It's called the Uncanny Valley. Today, we're going to explore why almost human things creep us out, where this idea came from, and what it reveals about our own brains. Buckle up. It's going to get delightfully creepy. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the basic shape of the Uncanny Valley curve, what it is, and why it looks like a valley in the first place. Then we'll travel back to 1970 to meet Masahiro Mori, the Japanese roboticist who first put this idea on paper. After that, real-world examples of robots and CGI characters that tumbled into the valley. Then the big question, why does your brain freak out? And finally, how designers navigate around this problem. Let's dive in. All right, let's talk about the creepy curve itself. Picture this. On one axis, you have how human-like something is. On the other, how much you like it, your affinity. As human likeness goes up, affinity goes up too. Cute toy robots, love them. More human-like androids, still cool. But then, right around when something looks almost perfectly human but not quite, affinity plummets. That's the valley. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So who came up with this? Masahiro Mori, a Japanese roboticist, wrote a short essay in 1970 called Bukimi no Tani, which translates to The Uncanny Valley. He wasn't a psychologist, he was an engineer building robots, and he noticed something strange. The closer his creations got to looking human, the more people recoiled. His essay didn't get much attention at first. It wasn't even translated into English until 1978 by art critic Josiah Reichart. But the idea was so powerful, so intuitive that it spread everywhere, from robotics labs to Hollywood studios. And here's the wild part. Mori was essentially right. Here's what the Uncanny Valley looks like as a chart. Now, this is illustrative, but it captures the shape perfectly. Start on the left, an industrial robot arm. Doesn't look human at all. We don't care. It's a tool. Move right, a cute toy robot. We love it. Further right, a humanoid robot with clear mechanical features, still appealing. But then, that sharp cliff, a near-human android that looks almost perfect but has slightly off facial expressions. Affinity tanks. And finally, at the far right, an actual living human. Full affinity restored. That dip in the middle, that's the valley, and it's brutal. Here's the thing most people get wrong about the Uncanny Valley. It's not really about static appearance. A photograph of a lifelike robot might be totally fine, but the moment it moves, that's when the creepiness kicks in. Specifically, 3 things trigger it: the eyes, facial expressions, and motion. If the eyes don't track quite right, if the smile is just a fraction of a second too slow, if the head turns with a micro jerk instead of a smooth rotation, your brain's alarm bells go off. You can't articulate why. You just feel it deep in your gut. Let me give you the most famous example. The Polar Express, 2004. Robert Zemeckis directing, Tom Hanks in multiple roles, groundbreaking motion capture technology. The film was a genuine technical marvel, but audiences walked out feeling unsettled. The characters looked almost human, but their eyes were no spark, no soul. Critics called them zombie-eyed. The Polar Express became the poster child for the Uncanny Valley in cinema. And it wasn't the last. Plenty of CGI characters since have fallen into the exact same trap. So why does this happen? Why does your brain, this incredible pattern-matching machine, short-circuit when it sees something that's almost but not quite human? Let's get into the science. Turns out there are multiple competing theories, and they're all fascinating in their own way. Scientists have proposed 3 main explanations, and they probably all play a role. First, the mate selection hypothesis. Your brain might be interpreting almost human as unhealthy human, like a subconscious warning to avoid someone who carries disease. Second, the pathogen avoidance theory, similar but broader. Anything that looks human but wrong triggers your ancient disease detection radar. Third, cognitive dissonance. Your brain can't decide whether to classify the entity as person or object, and that category conflict creates deep unease. The fascinating thing is, this isn't a bug in our brains. It's a feature. It kept our ancestors alive. Here's the number that defines the Uncanny Valley. Researchers have found that the danger zone sits between 80 and 95% human likeness. That's the sweet spot of creepy. Below 80%, you're clearly a robot, and people are fine with that. Above 95, you're essentially indistinguishable from a real person. But in that narrow window, you look human enough to activate all our person detection circuits, but not human enough to satisfy them. It's the worst of both worlds, and that's why designers lose sleep over this number. So if you're designing a robot or a CGI character, you have two safe paths. Path 1, stay stylized. Keep it cute, cartoonish, or clearly mechanical. Think Wall-E, Baymax, R2-D2. People adore these characters precisely because they don't pretend to be human. Path 2, go all the way. Achieve perfect, indistinguishable realism. But let me warn you, this path is astronomically difficult. One wrong twitch, one slightly off skin texture, and you tumble straight into the valley. Most designers choose path 1. It's safer, cheaper, and honestly, more charming. So here's my closing thought. The Uncanny Valley isn't really about robots at all. It's about us. It's a mirror that reflects how exquisitely tuned our brains are to detect other humans, to read micro-expressions, to feel presence, to connect. The fact that a slightly off robot can give us the creeps, that's a testament to just how deeply social we are as a species. The Uncanny Valley isn't a bug in our software. It's proof that being human is an incredibly high bar. And honestly, that's kind of beautiful. Thank you.